Hello everybody, Oliver here from the Earful Tower, and have I got news for you? We're gonna take you on a journey. My co-journey tour guide is Lina sitting right across from me.
Hello.
Are you ready to take these people on a journey?
I am.
The journey is how to make a children's book set in Paris, from pen to paper.
To book.
To your bookshelf.
Exactly.
The idea is this, we're in the process of the fifth one, and usually we're really quiet about our children's books until the day they're ready, but we figured now that this is number 5, now that we know what we're doing, we wanted to take you behind the scenes and show you what's going on along the way. And I think it could be fun for people to see how these things happen. And this episode is the introduction to book number 5. Are you ready?
I am.
Well, let's do it. Music by Pres Maxson, as always. Now, you might have noticed there was no talk of sponsors or anything.
No, not this time.
We could say that our books are the sponsors of this episode.
Yeah.
So the earfultower.com/shop is where you can get all the other books, or you can go to a real shop like Shakespeare and Company, Musée du Louvre, Musée d'Orsay.
Go brick and mortar.
Brick and mortar it. There's a bunch. In fact, we'll name a list at the end. Is
Definitely.
What we'll do. But well, I've got, whenever we do these kind of conversations, I usually find it, helpful to take some like subheading notes. So we've got 5 subheadings just to help us guide the conversation.
Guide the episode, yeah.
Yeah. And the first is easy, is what is the new book?
Yeah. Well, I think maybe, do you want to introduce it since it was you? So Oliver, you obviously write all the books. And
maybe let's rewind. Yeah, people maybe have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, maybe you knew around, or maybe you just had no idea that we also make children's books.
Maybe you're a huge fan, but you don't know how this thing works.
I mean, perhaps.
I mean, there'll be behind the scenes extras already. Because, for example, do you know that on our children's birth certificates, they ask you in France, maybe it's everywhere, but they ask you in France to put job description.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
And the way it works is, in our case, you were still in the hospital. I went to the town hall. I wasn't expecting them to say, what's your job? And I didn't know what to put. It felt weird to write podcast, even though it's my job.
Yeah.
And so I wrote for myself, écrivain, author. And for you, I wrote illustratrice.
I mean, how very bohemian.
Very bohemian indeed.
It is a romantic dream, isn't it?
You know, if you say you're a writer, an author in Paris, it's
highly respectable,
Oh, it's
right?
respected here, yeah.
Also, like what you were before, a journalist.
Yeah.
Also very respectable. So you, good sir, are a respectable human.
Podcaster, though, I can tell you for a fact, no one cares.
Oh, literally.
100%.
Oh, no, it's a bad word.
This is how it usually goes in France. People say, what do you do? I say, podcaster. And they go... Oh, ouais, podcast. Oui,
you make postcards?
Yeah, I think I heard about that. Happens a lot. And I go, like the radio, and they're like, yeah. And I go, I'm also an écrivain. And they go, now we're talking.
Like,
tell me.
Really?
Yeah. It's always the same.
Yeah.
Same with illustratrice, illustrator.
Yeah.
So anyhow, that's who we are, apparently, according to our children's birth certificates. And what was the question? What are the books? How we make them?
Yeah. Well, since we are an écrivain and illustratrice, that's what we decided to do yet again. So you picked up the old... Well, actually, how you started it this time was really interesting. How you... For you, it's more like... Well, maybe you should tell it. There's like a rhythm.
So the other 4 books are all in English about animals in Paris, a little world we sort of created. They all stand alone. And this time, I felt constrained by the rhyme scheme that I used for the other 4 books. So the rhyme scheme is... Top of my head, first book goes in a Paris canal at the edge of the town. A scaly old creature is swimming around. Here come the ambulances behind. No, but you start thinking like that. An ambulance comes and an ambulance goes. Yeah. And it felt constricting. I don't know.
Renew yourself.
Yes, I do. And
yes,
so,
in the name of art.
So if we want to get a bit nerdy, the rhyme scheme is AABB. First line rhymes with the second, third with the fourth, and so on. And now our 5th book comes around. I'm thinking, done with animals.
Yeah, not only are we not going to have an animal as our hero.
Done with the rhythm.
Heroine.
Done with the rhythm.
Yeah.
And I started to write, but the way that I did it was, and I've still got this recording, and maybe I'll share it at some point, but I had the idea. First, I had the idea for a story, little girl. Little girl. And it's quite uncomfortable to be talking about a book before it comes out. We never do it like this.
That's the word, uncomfortable. Because usually we kind of, maybe we say a little bit like, yes, we're working on a new one, it's exciting, it's going to be blah, blah. But we don't share basically anything.
The whole thing's finished
until the day we release it, where it's actually in the world.
And the problem with that, of course, is you especially do a lot of work behind the scenes, and then it's hard to go, here's a picture from 3 months ago when I was drawing a crocodile.
Yeah, and it kind of loses that excitedness almost.
So that's why I want to take you on the journey. So I was like, little girl, Eiffel Tower, very Parisian, very French, classic.
Were you inspired by our own little girl?
Maybe, and maybe...
Because I certainly was.
Yeah, I can tell by the way you've drawn her.
It's funny because when our little girl Astrid, when she sees the pictures I've drawn, she goes like, Asti.
Yeah,
she thinks it's her.
Herself,
yeah.
I think I was also inspired by my visit to the Eiffel Tower with the managing director. When he took me behind the scenes, I was like, why have we not focused on the Eiffel Tower before?
I know, it's so obvious.
So basically, I had this idea, and I'm not going to give too much away really, but it's a little girl who lives right by the Eiffel Tower with a view of it. Something goes wrong on the tower and she has to save the day. Yeah. That's basically it. Yeah. And so I had this idea and I was like, I want to do it differently. And Australian listeners will certainly know who I'm talking about when I say Banjo Paterson. And they called him a bush poet. He was around, I guess, 100-something years ago. And he wrote Waltzing Matilda. I think everyone knows Waltzing Matilda. Yeah. And a slew of other stories, usually about the bush, the outback, and so on. And one of my favorite poems of his is Clancy of the Overflow. And I was like, why not take the bush to the big city and write in that style? So I had this idea of this little girl, and I basically mapped out the whole story in my head, not even necessarily the words, but the plot and the vague characters and the whole story.
Yeah, the storyline.
And I got out my recorder and I just said the story in a series of noises. So this is what I might share one day. It's kind of weird, but it goes like this.
I have to say, it's amazing.
The tune of Clancy of the Overflow goes, I had written him a letter which I had for want of better knowledge sent to where I met him down the Lachlan years ago. So I said that very in the flow of it. So and then a longer line. And then I just got the microphone out and I was like, a little girl in Paris, and saves the day. And then she goes up the tower and then she does it there. And I just plotted the whole thing out in like this 3-minute long thing. And then I just wrote it and it came really quickly.
It did. It was so natural. Yeah. It was amazing to like witness this spectacle.
I don't know if it was amazing to rehear. It's kind of funny.
It was. It's cool because when you can't do, like, I could never ever do that, save my life. But for you, it just came so easy. It seemed so effortless.
Well, maybe it was effortless, but I tell you what's not effortless is the next stage of the tennis match for how we make books, because I write it in a day or two and then I tinker with it a bit, to be fair. But I palmed it off to you. I'm like, here you go. This will keep you busy for a while, I think. And then, so I do a big forehand and then serve.
And then a nice sticky clay ball is with me, and I need to shape it.
So let's talk about what you did when you got this book.
Okay, so I get the whole manuscript, the poem. It feels like a poem at this point. And I usually look at it, and I'm like, okay, what jumps out to me straight away? Well, actually, before that, what I always do is that I need to find the character, the main character. So
you look over on the sofa, 1-year-old girl, she'll do.
Yeah, it's like that. That's our girl. No, but even so, even if I was inspired by Astrid, it's like you have to find the exact, like, how does she keep her hair? What sort of movement does she work with? Like, what's her, what's her energy? What's her like sort of pattern? So it takes a few goes, and to just really find her. It came pretty quickly, I have to say, because it was quite. I just felt like it's perfect. It's obvious. And after I found the character, I look through the text and I try to find the most, like, what strikes me as the most inspiring scene, and I start with that. I start sketching.
So let's nerd out a little bit, because we don't really, you know what, to rewind how little we nerd out on these, is I look back at some of the headlines for the podcast episodes when we had new books coming out.
Yeah.
And for some reason, because the very first one we did, I think we were like, we've made a children's book, isn't this great?
Yeah.
But then when you do a second children's book, you can't say that anymore. We made a children's book, isn't this great?
And also, I think we're scared that people will be like, so what?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because by the fourth one, do you know what the headline was for the animal games? Does meter rhyme with cheetah?
Yeah, that doesn't even...
No, it's just a conversation we started having.
Sure,
once.
yeah.
I was trying to be kind of mysterious.
Funny,
but a lot of people are like, oh, I didn't even know you do books. I'm like, well, I'm not surprised.
We definitely buried the lead.
Definitely buried the lead.
Yeah.
But in this instance, let's nerd out. How, people ask me sometimes, not least because I do walking tours that, when I talk about the book, shout out, of course. Well, I was trying to be subtle about it.
Sure, I wasn't. This is the time where we're not subtle anymore. We are out there.
But they sell our children's books in the Peloton cafe, which is where my walk starts and ends. And people often will buy one at the end, and often I'll sign them and stuff. Often they ask me how you do it. They're like, does she do it on the computer? Does she have a pen? And this is where you can nerd out a little bit.
Sure. All right, let's do it. First, describe the style. The style, I'm very inspired by sort of mid-century children's books illustrations. So it's quite, it's sort of black outlines and simple pastel colors, not too many even. Like I usually stay in one sort of color scheme per spread. And even in the whole book, it's like, it's very themed. So it's sort of a mix between like a Babar, Tintin, Eloise. I'm a huge fan of Hilary Knight, the illustrator for Eloise. And yeah, I mean, you can see it in the books.
But like physically, how do you do it?
Physically, how I do it? Well, I pick up my pencil and I sketch out with pencil on a really nice, thick watercolor paper. And then I take my fine line ink pen, 0.1. It's very, very fine. And I go over that. And so at this point, it's just like black lines on paper, and it's the whole, like, the sketch is done. Then I scan it in to the computer, and I add all the colors via Photoshop and Illustrator. So it's like clean fields of color. So it's no watercolor. It's just like, it's very simple.
And then honestly, sometimes, in the way I said tennis match before, but sometimes you add things that aren't in the text.
Yeah.
And I look at it, a very tangible example is Kaya the Crocodile.
The first book, yeah.
Our first book. And I'd written it and you drew it. And then suddenly Kylie was in the Bon Marché trying on shoes or something. Was that what it was?
Yes.
And I was like, I'd never put her in the Bon Marché.
Yeah. And I guess I get carried away sometimes, or I feel inspired, and it's like this is such a visual scene, and I really need it or want it in the book, and then I see if you can do something with it.
Then I was like, give me that thing back again. Yeah. I look at it and I was like, okay, let's make like, and then I one up to even.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's make it so she explores in the night, goes through the sewers, goes to the Bon Marché and the Louvre and whatever, and she explores Paris by night, which is a big part of the story suddenly.
Yeah.
And then you were like, oh, I better add in some Louvre and some whatever.
Yeah, some other places.
So it just goes back and forth. So that back and forth hasn't really started.
No, not really. I feel like in the beginning it was even more like that. And as, by every book, I feel like we're kind of getting to know each other even more. Like the way I think when you write the first draft, what I want to... you write quite visual, or with a lot of space for my visual interpretations.
And you put my arm behind my back and twisted it and said, you want me to read a bit of it? And I said before we press record, no, I don't want to read any of it.
I know, so I twisted harder.
Yeah, so I'm going to do it even though I really don't want to. Are you going to share pictures of this, by the way?
I will.
Yeah.
I think starting from... Well, this week, for sure.
You know what I want to say? And this, I think I've interviewed maybe 100 authors over my time. They always say that, so to the degree that you never ask it anymore, that their newest book is their best one.
Yeah.
I guarantee you this is the best one.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed with this one.
Yeah,
This
I mean
is,
it.
and
You don't mean it. I mean it.
No, I totally
No, I mean it more.
But it's like when we started doing this and decided to not have an animal anymore and have a human, a character, maybe someone that we could follow in a little series in the future.
But yeah.
The aim for me, at least, I was like, I want to make this the most Paris book that I ever.
Paris.
You
know what? I'm going to read this now, but it says the girl's name, and the girl's name might change.
Yes.
It has to be a 2-syllable name. But instead of saying one, I'll just say Lina.
Sure.
When I name her in this bit. Just because... Also, gosh, we have this conversation with people, with editors and family and stuff. This is a work in progress.
Oh my God, yeah.
Don't tattoo these words on your arm.
Yes, and please, open mind.
Yeah, okay. So this is how the book starts. Talk about setting the scene. You ready? In a tiny Paris attic, with a view that was dramatic, lived a girl who absolutely loved when trouble came her way. And today you'll hear the story of the glamour and the glory from the time the Eiffel Tower went dark and Lina saved the day.
It's just chills.
I actually really love that tiny Paris attic.
Yes,
and it sets the scene for me.
And these few words, and you already her character. Like she loved when trouble came her way. It just says so much.
And then you drew the attic,
and
you made it one of those domed cupola attics that I love. And I hadn't initially. This is a good example of back and forth.
Yeah,
you put her in a round house. And
I
was like, oh yeah, that's
so maybe you'll work with that.
I haven't touched the words again. But anyhow, so
and the inside of her bedroom is based on our kids' bedroom.
Oh, by the way, if you go back to the old books, there's so many. Like the scene in the Bon Marché with the crocodile. Yeah. Isn't she trying on shoes that you designed?
Yes.
Or at least they're on the shelf or something.
Yes, definitely.
So Lina, by the way, is a fashion designer by trade or by not by birth certificate.
Not anymore.
And then it was COVID that got us with nothing to do at home that got us into these children's books. And I'm so aware, and I hate even the idea that we're coming across as, oh, look at us as Bohemian Illustrator, like thinking we're something that we're not. But these books have struck a chord, honestly. Yeah. And they really...
they work really well, which is so exciting.
The amount of stories that we've never shared on this podcast about people who... off the top of my head, I'll give you a couple. I remember a little child who didn't speak a word of English. I think they were Russian or something. And they learned the book by heart. Yeah. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And
by rhythm.
The mum sent me a message about it. And she goes, my daughter loves it so much that she knows it. And I was like, I kind of didn't believe it. And she sent me a video of this little girl who was, 3 or something. And she was going, I would come now at the end of the town, and the bus swimming around. And I was like, that is insane.
It's amazing.
And we met some people in Peloton not that long ago who, hadn't the kids learned to read by Kylie the Crocodile? And they'd done a whole school presentation on it. What about Scott Swan, the NBC reporter, who just this week tagged us in a picture of him reading Kylie to his granddaughter's school class?
I know, so sweet, because it's her favorite book, and they wanted to bring a bit of Paris to this American classroom. It was just wonderful.
And you were drawing on NBC about these books.
I was.
It's so easy to think these books are just me and you being silly.
No.
but only because people tell us we know that they mean something to people.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of surreal.
It's very amazing.
Especially because you've been painting children's books since you were 2, and I've been writing rhymes since I was 2 as well.
It's kind of like ridiculous.
Ridiculous, but we love it.
Great.
And we're here for it. So anyhow, where were we up to? So we talked about the tennis match. We talked about how we made it.
Exactly.
What... I think we've done all my points here, except how we're going to launch this one and the other books, essentially. Yeah. So the other books, just to keep you up to speed, Kylie the Crocodile, who got a lot of airtime in this episode.
Yeah, I did.
And then Roger the Liger, a personal favourite of mine, to be honest.
I know. Well, it was the story that first came about, actually.
Yeah, that was the first one.
But yes.
Grace the Giraffe, I love, actually. And then Animal Games, which was tied into the Olympics, and less of a character and more of a circumstance, I think.
Yeah, more of like showcasing the city at that point in time.
And now we've got a little human.
Yeah.
A little Lina.
I am so excited for this one.
Definitely not called Lina.
No, certainly not. No.
So
this is very cool.
This is what's going to happen next. Is this book should be ready by Christmas.
Yeah, that's
That's
aim.
the idea. And then we're going to, unless who knows what could happen between now and then, but that's the aim. That's also part of it. We're taking you behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So
Trials and tribulations.
yeah, but now that we've done 5, we kind of know what to expect. We kind of know how long it's going to take.
Yeah, exactly.
We
It's all to plan so far.
We kind of know what shop windows it will be in because we know the bookshops and stuff now. And we kind of have a fair understanding of how the whole process will go. So just like all the other books we've ever done, at some point, not yet, but at some point we'll do a crowdfunder.
Yeah.
The idea being we never know how many books to print, so you pre-buy a copy. So
Exactly. So it's not so much a crowdfunding. It's more like pre-sales.
Tell us how. Yeah, that's exactly what it's like.
It sounds. Yeah, the name is technically crowdfunding, but no.
Yeah. So basically, you buy a copy or 50 copies, and then with all the extra money that it makes, we print more books. So we have some for the bookshops and stuff like that. It's a tried and tested way of doing it. We self-publish them because, fortunately, we have an audience. If you're listening to this, you're part of the audience. And then, in time for Christmas, and hopefully, now that we've got our children are in the schools, we'll have some time for some events.
Yes.
We've done so many events bringing the kids.
I know. And however sweet that sounds, it's,
It's not sweet for us.
No, this is better.
Do you remember we did events in Australia
Yeah.
when Otis was like 6 months old and people were holding him? I remember in Brisbane. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
He was sitting on a table of books and some kindly soul who's maybe listening right now was like taking care of him so we could read from the children's books to a group of people in the evening. Do you remember? And many more like that. But now we're getting somewhere. Okay. Yes. So what's
Try
next?
to be professional.
Lina's on social media only on Instagram
Yeah.
at Parisian Postcards. I'll link her below. I'll share the story. We won't be doing many episodes about this at all, but we'll chime in whenever we do episodes together. We can do a little update. And
but yeah, check the progress over at social media account, both of ours.
Yeah, you should tag me when you share things. I'll tag it too.
Definitely.
And then we'll just get the conversation rolling early. And so by the time the Kickstarter comes around, you guys already
know what to do.
I mean, you've already heard the words. Tiny Paris Attic. And then maybe I'll share that sort of ravings of a lunatic of...
Please do. It's fascinating.
I was like so disinterested too because I just had to get through it all from my head. Anyway, there you go. So this episode brought to you by our books, the new book especially. But a little shout. Give me a chance. Give me a chance to shout out some other things. You know what? Why not Wednesdays?
Oh, yeah.
Let's give a shout out.
Please.
To the coming episode on Wednesday. Why don't we do that? So Lina and I have launched a new podcast called Why Not Wednesday. Some call it Why Not Wednesdays.
Yeah, sure. But, I mean, one day at a time,
Yeah,
right?
it's new, right? It's new. We don't need to pluralize these things. But Why Not Wednesdays is it's just for members, for paying members on Substack and Patreon. That's how we make this whole show exist.
So it's like a weekly show about where, me and you, we go out, have fun, date night in Paris.
Oh, it has to be a Wednesday. There's a few rules. Has to be a Wednesday. Has to be a surprise for one half of us. So, for example, the episode that's coming out on Wednesday, it was Lina's charge to be in surprise. So she had to be in charge to surprise me with somewhere we've never been before. Exactly. Make a reservation. Could be dinner, could be a show, could be anything.
Something cool to do,
Let's give a teaser about this place, huh?
All right.
We both gave this place a 10 out of 10. It was a 10 out of 10 dinner.
And then the score dropped radically.
Yeah, no, but I want to focus on the 10 out of 10 dinner. How about this for a clue? Didn't know what I was going to eat until the waiter revealed something on a tray and said, "This is what we do here." And we both said, "That's what we're doing." It was kind of an unexpected thing on that tray.
Yes.
And we took it.
Yeah, we did. It was
So
great.
the idea is hopefully to give you guys some great recommendations of things to hit and miss in Paris based on our explorations of the city every Wednesday night. So yeah, Patreon or Substack, $10 a month, unlock all of the content of the Earful Tower, including my PDF guide to the city. You didn't hear any ads at the start of this episode. That was the ad. Patreon.com/the Earful Tower or the Substack page. It all works the same. Now, shouldn't you be drawing?
I am.
Let's get back to the tennis match.
So quiet.
Thanks for listening, everybody. It's fun to take you behind the scenes as usual. I'll be back again next Monday with another episode. or maybe more than one episode next week. Let's see.
Intriguing.
Let's see how it goes. Lina, as always, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.